Tommy Hilfiger, DM me on Instagram. I need to talk to you.
Gavin Mathieu is the founder of Supervsn Studios. It's a movement that is based in LA and is rooted in the energy of LA streets. He's collaborated with prominent brands such as Tommy Hilfiger, Amazon Music, Union, and Michelle Obama, to name a few.
We need to get out of this anxious hustle and realize the point of money is to not have to work so hard and let the money work for you. In business, it's easy for the demand to pull you in a direction that's not true or honest. And then you like, oh, well, I'm making money. That's what business is about, right? Not really. Not if you set out to solve a problem.
To whom much is given, much is required. Part of that requirement is sharing. Culture is the heartbeat within our lives, and it's at the core of so many things. While we live in a time when we are starving for wisdom, I welcome you to your wisdom retreat at Culture Raises Us. When you hear culture, what does that mean to you, my guy?
Culture, to me, is sort of the byproduct of mindset. You know, I believe everything comes from the mindset and the paradigm of a group of people. I think the culture is sort of the result of our actions. And in order to shift culture, I think you have to shift the mindset.
So, you know, you talk about the convergence of fashion, art, and culture through the lens of the streets of LA. When did it hit you that this was so important to share this story and show the impact that it has on a global stage?
Yeah, you know, I think it's a few moments. So growing up, you know, my homie was a musician. He became, to the public, an artist named Dom Kennedy. Seeing his rise to stardom and traveling the world and seeing people go crazy and know my name just from being his friend, know our crew, everybody in our crew's name just from being his friend. I'm like, oh, they study this different, you know. They study how we move and what we do different. Then when I watched that movie Crush Groove, and seeing how the small local energy reaches, you know, the masses. And then the third time would be when I traveled to Tokyo for the first time, which was my first time out of the country.
Wow,
and that
was that?
That was with YG, and that was in 2016. Wow. And seeing kids walking down the street wearing T-shirts that I had made that weren't even YG, the 400 brand. Shirts that I had just made, like, you know, just coming up. Hats that I had made. Stuff that we made, obviously, with YG and whatnot. Seeing them know everything about us. I'm like, oh, this is global. So what are we saying, you know? I've always been about messaging. I've always been about, you know, the purpose and intention behind what I create, but it just became even more real every step of the way. Those were the three sort of pillars and reminders for me.
Reminders. And I feel like part of that, something that you haven't said yet, but I think I've been watching, is you've always felt this commitment and desire for committing and building community and all that, I think. And so what role did that play in not only your brand, but yourself?
It's such a, like, reciprocal relationship that I have, you know, because my gratitude, like, I love what I do.
I know you do.
You know what I mean? And my gratitude for the people that love what I do is deep. Any person that purchases, I don't care how big my company is, if I see somebody walking down the street, I still get that feeling, you know? And I'm still like, man, what's your name? Thank you, you know? Because they didn't have to spend that money. They didn't have to take the time, you know? I value time. I value our work and our you know, the money and the monetary things that we have to, I think it's a universal relationship, right? You put money into the world, into things but that money, you had to earn that, you know? So I'm super thankful for anybody that supports me. And so when we talk about community, and also I'm inspired by the people around me, I'm just attracting people and bringing people together rooted in love, gratitude, positivity for who we are, who they are, and I'm in service to them. When I'm putting an event on, my team knows every detail. I'm like, yo, make sure they have this. Make sure that the food is ready and hot when they get here. That's important to me.
I felt that when I met you day one, and respected that. And more than supporting you, it was supporting anything that you did, because I knew the passion and how truly committed you were. And I mean, and to this day, though, don't get it twisted, I have items from you that literally my favorite short was one of yours. You did this tie-dye bandana joint literally on opposite sides of the panel that I got multiple colors of. Like I told myself, just buy one. But I was like, I can't just do one. I got to get both colors. And so as I think about, for me, that was such a bold statement with just them shorts alone. And it was something that was just you. And I'm going to get to when I say just you, because collaboration is big for you. And we're going to talk about that. But moments like that, and you talk about people that you stop on the street. I know for myself, anytime I wear those, people stop me on the street.
For sure.
What does that do for you?
I mean, that tells me that what I'm doing is the right thing, right? It's a divine energy that I'm putting into it. Like my favorite thing, and this is any design I've ever done from 15 years old when I started designing. The one thing everybody always says is, yo, 5 people stopped me just today while I'm wearing those. And you know what that tells me? The energy is being transferred, it's being felt, it's being acknowledged, and it's making you feel better. You're being seen in a design that I made. You know what I mean? So you're being acknowledged and getting you're being uplifted through a compliment from somebody on the street. You know what I mean? I don't love making clothes. I'm not Marc Jacobs. I'm not none of them dudes. That's not what I wake up and think about. You know what I mean? I wake up and create things that'll inspire and make other people feel better, So to hear you say that, I'm not gonna say it's not the first time I've heard this, but it still gives me the goosebumps. Like, man, the energy that I put into is living on.
It's living and transferring. It's interesting that you say that, but now you just recently announced that your last collection, spring 25 collection, will be your last Supervision, and air quotes, seasonal collection. I'm assuming that you're looking to focus on the real passion of, creating not just in clothing, but in products, experiences, because like I said, your community piece is very deep. Content experiences. Do you think the chase to deliver against like these seasonal fashion cycles distracted you from what you feel you were truly called to do?
For sure.
Really?
100%, yeah. When you think about like building a business around a spiritual practice, it alters the flow. You know what I mean?
Talk about that spiritual practice.
I mean, this not me. I'm just a vessel. You know what I mean? I'm just a vessel to the ideas. They're given to me. It's my job to put them into life, into reality, into the world, So those shorts you talking about, this T-shirt you talking about, the message in the T-shirt, like I told my team the other day, I'm like, yo, I'm not playing right now. I'm serious about this. Everything I do, I'm serious about, because I'm honoring God and what he gave to me as a steward to be like, yo, please bring this to life. I want you to be that person. You know what I mean? So I'm not playing about a T-shirt. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely not playing about no fashion industry selling season telling me I got to do it fast. I'm not doing that either. You know
so
what
it's
I mean?
I don't want to say a new canvas, but the canvases that you're looking to paint on are outside of product at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing it, but I just need the world to know that, so that, and I need to open myself up to that. You know what I mean? Like I needed to make this shift so that my entire business structure and everything is in flow in the way it's supposed to be. And I'm set up to do what I'm supposed to do, and that's be a creative,
I alluded to, when I talked about those shorts, how that was done on your own, because collaboration plays a big part in your approach. And I'm sure it's going to continue to be that as you continue to do this. And for me, collaborations in general become so watered down. I mean, everybody's got a collaboration. And I always have to look back at, okay, what does a collaboration mean? A collaboration, in essence, is supposed to be two brands coming together or two properties coming together because they can't extend into the areas in which they're trying to by themselves authentically, right? And you did that really, really well. What's your strategy on how you identify collaboration partners? Because that's a big thing. Like, what's the criteria? How do you know this is one that's going to make sense for said goal, said initiative?
Yeah. You know, I think, again, it's more, everything for me is a spiritual practice. You know, if it comes to me in the form of an idea, I honor that. You know, there's people that I want to collaborate with that I have my eyes set on, that I know will happen one day. There's people that have reached out to me, you know, that I hear that in my head. I can hear that click in my head, and I'm like, oh, this is it. Super Union. You know what I mean? Super Union got legs to be its own brand.
1,025%.
You get what I mean? Why? Because that's not rooted in how do I make a t-shirt. That's rooted in Union and Chris being an OG, me being the younger homie coming up, the lack of intergenerational connection and support that we saw growing up, the ego game between two men, coming and putting that aside and being like, yo,
bigger.
I can learn from you and you can learn from me. We can work together and make something special. That's what that whole collab is about. It's about that. And then what do we say to our collective of, you know, at the end of multicultural, multi-generational, like, oh, we're better together. That's supervision in itself. I believe God put us on earth. We all pick up a crayon first. We put on this earth to be creative. We can make humans. We can make life. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm creative and you're creative and we can work together for one common goal, come on, man. You know what he said.
No.
Two or more gathered together. Okay, so one common goal is we become super.
And I love that. And as I listen to you and the ease in which it's said, we know the challenge in which to execute for a number of reasons, egos and the programming and the structure of society. And you've done a great job of remaining true. Like, you're so authentic to and that's the thing that I'm hoping people get from this. I've always respected your authenticity and your commitment to your vision. No pun intended. Like, you've always, like, I don't see you jumping around trying to do a bunch. Like, you're always laser focused on what it is you feel is the right thing to do. And I know where it comes from as you are outspoken about this, about God has given you these gifts. And, you know, you have a favorite quote that you also just shared. Don't try to be great. Just try to be honest as possible.
Yeah.
How does that come to life in your overall approach to creating?
The honesty is, and the truth is where the connection happens, you know? I think it's another word we can reference is authenticity, right? It's like it's felt, you know what I mean? But there's a sense of also honesty, because we think about honesty as like, don't lie. We think about honesty as an interrelationship honesty, but like honesty with yourself, right? About who you are, about what you want to say, about who you want to be, about what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. You know, that honesty is, to me, that's your path to greatness. You know, that's your path to that pair of shorts that I made, you know, that opened the doors for me, the shorts that you love, but that opened the doors for me to do a Tommy Hilfiger collaboration.
So that helped propel you.
That one pair of shorts got me that collaboration.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.
Had no idea about this.
Yeah.
Speak on that.
One of my, I call him a homie. One of my homies who actually was just a supporter of the brand, rocking the brand, you know what I mean? Was wearing the shorts on set. Tommy stopped him and was like, what are those? He's like, yeah, that's Supervision. You need to know about Supervision. Tommy Hilfiger DM'd me on Instagram, was like, yo, I saw your shorts from Joe. I need to talk to you. I'm like, bro, pull up. He came by the studio. He saw the shorts in person, and that was it. He called his team. He's like, make this happen.
Never knew this story. And that's how you get a Tommy Hilfiger collaboration.
Yeah. And I'm gonna bring it even. I'm gonna take it a step further for you. Those shorts. That's blue and red. That's tie dye.
That is. Yeah.
That's tie dye. Marries blue and red. That's gang culture, street culture meets hippie peace life post war. Like that's paired together. That's a story in itself. Like I didn't approach, that was not part of a collection. That was like, I'm about to make a pair of shorts. The best pair of shorts. If you look at those, there's green, there's blue, there's red, there's tie-dye, there's this. Every stitch and seam on every panel is a different color. People don't peep that.
I will now.
So to bring it all full circle, when we talk about being serious and putting that love and intention into it, and then it yielding the results, you know, the telling the truth and yielding results of a Tommy Hilfiger collab, like you gotta be honest.
And it's, I can't stop saying authentic. You were true to you and what you felt was the right thing to do to the level in which you did it. Because even as I think about it today, you're right. Those things were never supposed to come together. We're never supposed to come together.
Yeah.
But you did. And you pulled it off in a bold, incredible way that look now what it's also been able to do. And I'm so glad to hear about the doors that it opened beyond just one of your guys being a huge fan and buying as many damn colors of it as possible. Yeah. I always try to just buy one color, but when it's something crazy like that, like how do I leave the blue one? Because I was going to get the black one first. The black one was it. And I said, but the blue one on the blue side, I got to do it. And so it's so great to hear even the advocate that you had in your boy who was wearing it on set to be the extension of you says a lot. Because he could have just been like, oh, it's just whatever. But he also now, it was an extension of your movement, which I think also is what pours into how you deal with community and how the community now deals back with you. We are definitely embarking on what I call some interesting times, given the state of things. And I'd love to hear from your POV specifically, you know, what are you doing to kind of ensure that the cultures and the spaces that you frequent are being nurtured properly? And what would you share with other creatives and consumers to make sure they're doing their part as well? Because we're in interesting.
I think the golden rule, my dad used to always say, treat others how you want to be treated. You know, I think it starts there. Safety and comfort and, you know, people being at peace. I call it creative wellness, you know. I think it's an important thing for us to all be in a space of like rooted in safety and being relaxed in order to express ourselves and be ourselves. I'm also looking for the honesty in everybody else, you know? And so I think creating an environment for that and me being a leader in that, in my company, in, you know, my community, like as a leader and somebody that knows the value of people's true selves and people feeling safe and feeling comfortable, you know, I feel like a protector as well. You know what I mean? So I make sure that the people on my team feel respected and feel appreciated, you know, feel acknowledged and feel comfortable to be themselves and to do the best.
And I'm glad you gave the context on comfort and being comfortable, because I was going to ask, because so often, you know, and I even tell myself this, like, I got to get comfortable being uncomfortable because that's where the majority of growth comes from. So do you still see a sense of that when you talk about creating these comfortable spaces, that there's still growth that comes from that?
Oh man, now we're getting deep. So like
the
comfort in being uncomfortable is in your daily practice, right? And your connection to God and your ability to sit and be still and be silent, you know, and hear and listen. For me, now I know that. Maybe not everybody knows that, but that's what makes me a leader. You know what I mean? That's what makes me a person to create environments for people, you know, to allow them allow them to see when you sit in your truth and your honesty, this is what you can do. Because I'm not special. You know what I mean? I just know. You know what I mean? So I'm going to create that space so that people can see that in themselves I got a team of great people, you know. If I can make them better or help them to become their best selves.
You know, and I love the spiritual foundation, obviously, because that's one of the many things that obviously we have in common. And, you know, I look at fasting, which we're very familiar with, and in seasons of fasting, which obviously could be more than food and alcohol or social media. I always want, is there like a communal fast that you would advocate we move on to get further clarity or focus or just accelerate us?
The thing that we can do best right now, be still, don't react. You know, like, don't react to the social posts, don't react to the highlights, don't react to what somebody said. Just be still, sit back, see if that thing is still there in 5 seconds. You know, if not, you don't have to even deal with it. But be still and see what settles, you know, and then you see what really stood out and all of that, what the lesson was to be learned, you know.
You know, that's an art form.
Oh, yeah.
Because being still and not reacting, but rather responding is a muscle you have to exercise, because it can be so triggering because it is so much. Gav, there's a lot that has you thinking all over the place, but it is an art form to sit still. What's the practice that you even practice yourself of ensuring that you don't react and just, all right, I heard it, I see it, let me take it in and be still?
I mean, it's an art form, and it's an art practice, you know. Like, it really takes practice. It takes daily practice. You know, I think right now, to be completely honest with you, I'm probably in my best state yet, you know. Like, morning program is dialed in right now, you know. 5 a.m. meditation, exercise, prayer, reading, writing, every morning.
Every morning
before I take my kids to school, without fail. Before I take my kids to school, you know. Like, I'm speaking to you from my best self to date. I
love that.
You know, I might get knocked off my rocker, but if I practice every day, I'm pretty hard to knock off. But I get distracted too. You know, I'm human. Like, I might, and I need to get back to my practice. You know, and that's when I know, like, all right, you reacting too quick. But currently, I encourage everybody to get tapped in with your own spiritual practice so that you can be rooted in some truth and not react to what's going on, because, you know, 4 years is going to blow by quick. You know, you don't want to be the one who reacted to that, played yourself out of your own spot, and now, you know, you looked up and they got what was ours.
I actually, you just spoke to me on that, because I've found myself spiraling, the what ifs, in the event that, what do I do? And now, as you just said that, you playing yourself out of what was yours, what you created, what you were part of creating. That would be whack.
Yeah.
Sorry, you just hit me. So thank you for that, because like that was, the weight of things has been heavy. And at times you find yourself reacting in a way that you're like, wait, but why? And almost forgetting who's really the master architect of all this. And this is no surprise to God.
Right. Come on. Exactly.
All this is part of the story. While it's present for us, it's history to him already. And we're going to be good.
Exactly.
See, this is why I always need you around, bro, because you've always had this calm sense of, and again, consistently authentic and true. And so I'm glad you shared even the things that you do on a daily basis, because that's the other thing I don't think people really realize is the commitment to some sort of regiment and the commitment to something consistent. And we're very much in an era where people just see the, you know, Gavin, supervision, big picture, but they don't see the daily commitments, the daily things, the trials, the adversity, all these different things, and we don't share enough of that. right? We don't share enough about how you stumbled or how you figured out this failure or what have you. We don't share the things of like how committed you are on a daily basis. And it's so necessary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why I got my cameraman here too, you know? Like, that's what this announcement that we made was. This was my honest, vulnerable truth.
Please, and break that down, because you even told me, hey, I didn't say that. So give it to the people.
In business, it's easy for the demand to pull you in a direction that's not true or honest. It's easy for the market, the society to pull you, and then you like, oh, well, I'm making money. Cool, that's where I'm gonna go. That's what business is about, right? But not really. Not if you set out to solve a problem, you know, not if you set out with intentions to do something else, you know? So it's even harder, I think. It's been harder for me being a creative and an entrepreneur to stay so true to the ideas, honor the truth about what's put in my head, to be like, yeah, you should make this, you know? And then to be like, well, I gotta feed people's families. How Supervision went from being this creative agency and the creative company to becoming this clothing brand, that was rooted in the pandemic, you know what I mean? And being like, I got people on my team, I gotta feed them. I can't fire these people. Man, let's make more clothes. I'm about to, like, and the demand was there.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, well, I got to do that, because I got my homies, my guys on my team, like my family, my team. I'm not firing them. I'm not doing that. And then you look up, 4 years past, you got a clothing brand, you know, but you've neglected what you're really trying to say and trying to do, you know. So for the last year, I've been creatively congested, and I just had to get to a place where I had to cleanse myself of this, you know, blockage, you know, and just get back to reposition myself to sit at the center and to be in flow with, you know, what I'm supposed to do. And if that's a t-shirt, or if it's an event, or if it's a, you know, piece of content, whatever it may be, I need to be in a position to do all three.
You know, we always end these sessions with the question, you know, what would the 3 seeds be that you would leave to the stewards of culture moving forward, to put them in position to then have our culture be in the best position for our collective betterment? What would both those 3 seeds be for you?
I think it's often misconstrued around generational wealth, or not just misconstrued, but I think it's what's overlooked first is generational health, you know? And I think we need to be able to know that our well-being is what's going to allow us to yield, you know, these returns and the fruit or whatever it may be that we need, right? We need to get out of this anxious hustle and realize the point of money is to not have to work so hard and let the money work for you. Because oftentimes you make the money, you don't even know you got the money, and then you're not investing it, setting yourself up. You think, because I used to, my goal used to be 100 million. Then I got to a place where I'm like, wait a minute, my goal is really financial freedom. And then thirdly, I would say, and this is specifically for Black men, is that money does not validate us. We need to get our validation and confidence from our relationship with God and our relationship with ourselves, you know, and being able to be rooted in that first, it's going to put you in position for everything else.
I love the context of moving from generational wealth to generational health. I don't think I've ever heard anybody put it that way. And I want to thank you dearly for sharing that amongst everything else, and know that you always have a place of support here as you continue to remain true and authentic to being the steward that God has put you in place to be. And I'm grateful that you continue to push forward unapologetically. Unapologetically, because selfishly, you know, many of us will be like, oh no, you still got to do a clothing line, but you kill it every time, collabs or by yourself. But I already got my favorite shorts, so I'm good. So you don't ever have to make no more apparel anyway.
Right.
But really, really proud of you, and we'll always support you, and I'm thankful for you, man.
Appreciate that, brother. Thanks for having me.
Very welcome.
Yes, sir.
We truly appreciate your support because it helps us fulfill our mission of promoting cultural awareness and personal development. Please click the subscribe button below to help ensure and solidify our mission.